You end up getting 20 years. Letharian gets sentenced to life in prison for the killing of Ethan Walker. Megan gets 20 years. Sean pleads guilty to murder, and he gets 40 years. Jalen pleads guilty to 2 counts of aggravated robbery and gets 30 years. Tay-K, while he's on the run, ends up being involved in a second murder. This was the robbery of a cameraman that ends up turning into a homicide. Did you hear about that second killing?
I did, because once I was sentenced to the 20 years, I was sent to, prison. And so first I had to be in juvenile prison, which is like a TDCJ. And then, then they'll decide like, hey, when you're about to turn a month before your 19th birthday, you're going to come back in front of a judge and we're going to decide if we're going to re-sentence you to adult prison or if you're going to parole out. And so once I got sentenced to the 20 years, to life, undeterminate, my parents were like, okay, now we really need to find like an attorney that's going to like help her and get, knowledge on her story and going to be understand what happened to her and be able to defend her and not just, have the DAs and the judge do and say whatever they want. And so my parents stumbled across an attorney called Scott Brown. His name is Scott Brown. And he really worked my case and he really understood what happened to me. And he, became like a friend to me. And so when he was working my appeal, he gave me a phone call and was like, hey, this case is just climbing more and more attention. And, now it's getting even more attention because one of your co-defendants has caught another charge. And, I think that he's actually wanting to hire my law firm as well. So I don't know if we're going to be conflicted or not on your appeal.
Okay. So when you found out that Tay-K had actually killed somebody, what did you think?
I mean, I don't really know.
Right, because this brought more attention to the case as well.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, what I feel like a lot of people fail to realize is this is like the third crime that he's involved with now. So when people say like, oh, they made an example out of those kids, I feel like it really started with the fact that, they tried to paint this picture like these were my like acquaintances, like people that I hung around with. And that wasn't the case, So when the DA and the judges are talking to me and, in the trial, they're like, okay, well, they played the race in my trial. They said, did y'all hear that song? These are the type of people that she acquaintances herself with. These are the type of people she hangs around with. This is what she likes to do. This is her lifestyle, which I had never even heard the song until I went to court. And so it just made everything 10 times worse, like worse. And the next year would come and it was even worse. And the next year would come and it's even more attention. And the next year would come and now I've got, people coming to try to visit me in prison and get interviews.
What did you think of that song when you first heard it?
I mean, I think, when you have a wanted poster, it's really hard to answer this question because in one sense, I think, if none of this ever happened, I think that he has a talent. He can rap. I think in another sense, what he's rapping about is absolutely insane. And it is a smack in the face to the court, That's why these judges were like, oh, you're going to make a mockery out of me. I'm going to make a mockery out of you. I got told the same thing. Hey, there's this kid in your case. He's pretty much, making a mockery of the court system. So are you going to do that too? If you do that too, if you pop out with the song or you pop out with an ankle monitor, this is what we're going to do to you. So it's really hard, to speak on Tay-K because, what if he was never a part of this murder and he was still making songs? Would it have ever blown up, But really this song caught attention because the whole world's like, wow, this kid is on ankle monitor for a very high profile crime now, where somebody died. And now it's getting national attention, which was also a smack in the face to, the victims in the case, because not only are you making a mockery of the court, well, you're making a mockery of the people's loved ones who are dead, who can't come back.
Well, they eventually catch Tay-K, and he goes to court and he gets 55 years, which is interesting because out of everyone who got convicted, the only person who got more years than him was Letharian, who got life in prison. So he actually got less time than Sean, who basically shot one of the guys, right?
Correct.
So Sean got 40 years and Tay-K got 55 years, and he wasn't the shooter. In either case, in either the individuals who got shot, Tay-K did not shoot either one of them, but he's the one that went on the run, made a song, made a mockery of the court. And it's interesting how he got the second most, heinous amount of time.
I mean, it's just like I said, the judge said, hey, if you pop out with a song and cut your ankle monitor off, I'm going to make you an example. I'm going to make you my mission. I think that's exactly what they did to him. You cut your ankle monitor off. This is the second case you're involved in. Well, now you went on the run. This is the third case you're involved in. And apparently there was some elderly man they said that he beat up. Now this is the fourth case you're involved in. You're got cell phones we're finding inside the jail. So why do we take a chance on you and give you 5-10 years? We already know what you're going to do with your freedom. So, he made it hard for himself, and he made it hard for everybody else in the case. And it's sad, he was a kid too. I don't think that he willingly, just was out here committing crimes. I think it was the people he was hanging around too. All the adults around each of these cases very much played a bigger part than the children did. In his first case, there was an adult. In the second case, there's multiple adults. In the third case, apparently, there was a girl saying that she was a 19-year-old stripper giving a 16-year-old her money. Like, there was always somebody older who had their hands in it.